Hi.
Hi, I'm Mary Olson in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and this is my home, beautiful studio. Been potting ever since I was 16. Always loved clay. We were just talking about decorating with colored slips, and then putting a clear glaze on, like these pieces right here. A friend of mine just commissioned me to make these bowls, and so this is kind of where they're headed. But we were talking about how the clay is red, and it's a low-fired clay. This is another piece, but I just made these yesterday. It's a red earthenware or terracotta clay, and then when it is leather hard, which is that wonderful stage the clay is in where it's not dry and it's not malleable, I brush a white slip and a blue slip and a yellow slip, a very soft yellow, and then I scratch with like a porcupine quill and lots of other tools. So I have a variety of line, and I use a little roller, and I decorate. And I also, when the piece is bone dry, when it's all the way dry, I put on a terra sigillata and I burnish it. I burnish the bottom of the piece. So it's different than the slip, but it's white also. It's wonderful. And I always decorate the bottom of my pots. This has a brown terra sig on it. So this is burnished. And then these colors, I actually brush colored glazes on top of the slips when it's bisque fired. After the first firing, I'll brush these colored glazes on, and then I put a clear glaze over the whole thing. And then the terra sig lives on its own.
Very interesting.
So it's a very simple process, but I really like it. It works well for me.
All right. It will be really nice if you can show us around. But
Yeah,
for sure.
this is my big work table. These are my slips that I just mixed up. This is yellow and blue, and then I have two yellows, a soft yellow and a deeper yellow, and a blue and a white. My white I mix in a big bucket. We buy our clay. Comes in from California, but we buy it here. And we don't mix our own clay, in other words. And then this is my potter's wheel, where I throw. It's nice because I have a nice view out the window. So then this is some bone dry baby sets that I made. And these are just all white right now with sgraffito, which is where I scratch, and terra sig, bone dry. You can see they're for new babies. So they have the child's name and the birth date, and they get a bowl too, comes together. Somebody commissioned me to make these. My tools, my bats for throwing, I put these on the wheel, and I can sit here and fill the room with all my bats. This is like my inspiration wall, stuff I'm working on, ideas. These are all my slips and terra sigillatas and tools and brushes, and my utility sink, which is really great for clay. It never looks this clean because I just got ready for summer and I'm not working, and so I come out here every day. This is my kiln. This is an electric kiln powered by a computer, and I've got some pieces inside getting ready to be bisque fired. And this is my student Esri, who works with me. She's an art student, so she draws a lot of scenes on her pieces, and she tells sort of sequential stories. And she's only 16, and she's already like she's just amazing. She's also doing a lot of sculpture. She works here in my studio with me. Wish she was here right now.
thing.
This, I was just, oh yeah, there's my Scut. This is an American kiln that's a very good brand. So I don't have a gas kiln. I work all out of this kiln. This is my big glazed materials where I keep all my dry materials. And I have them labeled and...
Alright. So are these glazes? No.
Those are dry materials with that when mixed together make glazes and slips.
Okay.
These are my glaze buckets where I hand mixed a variety of low fire glazes. I know exactly what's in those and I know when I made them, so I know their life, their shelf life too.
Okay.
And I weigh all of these on a scale.
Great.
Those are my colorants over there where I add colors. I have lots of colors. And then these are wear shelves of things in progress or things that didn't work out or things that, like I'm always looking, I like looking at older pottery. So I'm carving the edges of plates like these old mold pots from France. I like to make a lot of raised dishes with skirts, and this is bisque fired. There's a pink terracige. I love that terracigelata. I alter my pieces when they're wet, so they're scalloped. I have one show a year in my home, and I just make all the money to buy my materials and keep my studio. I do not make my living doing this. I'm a full-time teacher. How about that? And then, let's see it. This music, books, references. These are glaze tests. I'm testing a lot of glazes, so I mix up a lot of batches and test my glazes. Here's some tiles, test tiles that I'm making. I know exactly how to make a yellow, a green, and a blue, and this summer I'm focusing all on blue and yellow. So I've got tests everywhere, trying things out. And then those are I keep notebooks and I keep logs. This is my, I keep notes, and I also study at Santa Fe Clay.
All right.
A great workshop.
Is that your name? Yeah.
This is like old work, like 25 years old. So I save it to just remember.
It's all yours.
Yeah, that's all mine. This is something new I'm working on. I'm making birds, and they're rattles. And they're thrown. I throw these parts and then I alter it. And I paint them with slips and terracigs and glazes. All low fire.
So most of it low fire?
All of it.
All
low
of it.
fire. All of it's low fire. And this is another type of bird I've been making. So I do some hand building too, where I don't use the wheel. This is hand built, this is on the wheel, this is all on the wheel, with some hand built pieces.
That you added after?
That I added. Oops. But I keep things around to keep reminding me where I'm going and what I'm studying, and keep the old work, some of it. This is new. This is altered, wet on the wheel, altered, and then assembled, stacked. This summer I'm going to do some big vases like this, but big. So this is a nice model for me, so I know where I'm headed. Blue. Those are my molds. Yeah, we were talking about molds. Those are my molds when I hand build. I just used these are wood. I just made these wooden dishes last night, and I've got skirts for them. And I have some plaster molds too. My textures.
What textures?
My textures in that box right there.
Wow. So you just keep them and...
I roll them into the slabs.
Oh.
When I hand build.
Oh, how interesting.
We were just having fun going through the house, looking at all the pots that I've collected over the years from artists that I love or know. This is a current artist I'm obsessed with, Maria Dondero. She lives in Georgia. She lives in the south of the United States, and she's a terracotta potter. And she's young, and she's just out of her MFA, a few years, and she has her own pottery business called Marmalade Pottery. And the reason I know about her is from our community pottery, Santa Fe Clay, which is worth Googling and looking up to see what goes on at Santa Fe Clay. It's a gallery, it's a studio, it's a teaching facility, it's a clay shop, and I meet a lot of artists there. So I'm in love with this work. It's low fire. She paints the glazes on. There's a white surface like my work. She shows like where she dipped it. You know, you can really see the hand of the potter. And this man I have loved forever, and he's also in the same region. His name's Ron Myers. He's really on the map. He's an elder now. But I know she was inspired by him, and you can see it in her work. And he's come to Santa Fe Clay to teach, and I bought these tumblers, which are also low fire, with a white slip, and then he decorates and scratches and sgraffitos, and I love his work. This is another potter that I had a communal studio with years ago, Priscilla Cohen. And she did Maiolica, which is anybody who's interested in low fire should know about. A red clay, a white glaze is put on after the bisque firing, and then the colorants are painted on. And it's just a very different technique than using slip and decorating before the firing. It's all done after. This woman came as a potter from California, and she runs her own business, and I'm blanking on her name. I want to say Diana Fayt, F-A-Y-T. She too would be a good one to Google. She does this beautiful drawing. These are all her original drawings, and she taught us all these transfer techniques. And she made these so they fit in the car plastic cup holder. And then she uses commercial glazes. She doesn't mix those. She uses commercial glazes that are mixed by, I was saying, the men and women in lab coats. Perfect chemistry. This is another famous potter in Iowa named Clary Ilian, and she wrote a book for the studio potter. She is absolutely fantastic. This is one of my favorite pitchers. She's an expert in the pitcher, and I think this is either salt or soda fired. As you can see the flashing, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece with a bird beak spout added. And this is Lisa Orr. She's another woman ceramicist in the United States that's very well known, very well shown. I think it's ORR, Lisa Orr, and she makes these in molds, press molds, where she makes all these cool textures. And this too is earthenware with glazes that drip and run and move off the pot, and they're fabulous. And look at that saucer. I bought this at Santa Fe Clay years ago, and it's fun to get it out and look at it. This is a porcelain piece that I bought at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design, years ago. Love the simple pattern opposite. You know, black to white, white background to black. Beautiful. High fire, high heat porcelain clay. This is my friend Kate Inskeep. She's a porcelain potter in Gold Hill, Colorado. She too has a beautiful website and is very successful. She's also a tile artist, but we use her mug. She works with stencils, and this is, I think this is soda flashing. This is also hers. This is another of her glaze series, and she does a lot of installation of tile. This is my friend Max. He's young. He goes to UNM, and he's a painter, but he just takes it all to the surface of clay, draws and text. And this was made at Santa Fe Clay. He took a class, and I got to buy this right out of the kiln. And I know his family well, And this is my friend Rachel, who's a pinch pot nut. She pinched 100 pots. And this is one of them that I got. She gave me. It's very earthy. Looks like a shell or a seed or a nut. It's really beautiful. It has a great form. And this is a little pot I made that I love. It's a vase. And it's ovalized and built in 3 different pieces. This is also red earthenware with terra sigillata and a beautiful lithium carbonate glaze. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.